Can someone please answer this question for me? When are Democrats in Congress going to stop treating Republicans as their colleagues across the aisle? When are they going to stop telling us, oh, my fellow Republican members of Congress, they're good people. They're mostly good people. They're just really misguided. I'm so fucking sick of Democrats treating Republicans like they are legitimate legislators, legitimate representatives, rather than a full-on fascist party trying to dismantle the United States of America and protecting pedophiles. Because while every day reveals new horrors from the Epstein files, no matter how hard Mike Johnson and the Republicans tried to prevent that information from coming out, and because while every day sees new acts of violence committed by immigration and customs enforcement agents against American citizens, against immigrant neighbors, while DHS has been turned into Donald Trump's violent, lawless paramilitary murdering American citizens in the streets, beating and abducting people, using little children as bait, and then stuffing those children into concentration camps where they don't have enough water, where their food is rotten and full of bugs, where they don't have access to medical care, where those children are screaming for us to set them free. In the context of all of that happening on a daily basis in the United States, understanding that Republicans could stop any of this nightmare, all of this nightmare immediately. Republicans in Congress are the reason we are in this position, and they have the power to stop it, and they choose not to. And yet Democrats consistently treat them like legitimate colleagues. Democrats continue to minimize the harm that Republicans are doing, infantilizing them, woobifying them, almost being like, oh, they're just really misguided. They're just really scared of Donald Trump. We're hearing from members of Congress the horrifying things that they are seeing in the unredacted Epstein files, and the very same day we're hearing shit like this from Republican members of Republican leadership in the House. This is the chair of the House Republican Conference, Michigan Congresswoman Lisa McClain today.
Why aren't more people outraged? I don't get it. I gotta share with you, I don't get it. These folks are monsters. They're criminals. They murder. They sexually assault young women.
Oh, you mean the people
minors.
on the Epstein list?
And you know what the Democrats want to do? Let's release them into your communities.
Oh no,
and
you're lying about immigrants again.
Celebrate the criminals. Let's villainize the ICE agents and celebrate the people who are raping your children.
Nobody's doing that.
That is crazy. And I'd love for the media, just find one parent for me, or any responsible citizen in this country that actually thinks that's okay. I mean, I would love to talk to that parent. I really would.
Come talk to me.
They're criminals and they're killers. And Democrats are fighting right now to keep them here, to shut down ICE, to call off Border Patrol, and to let these folks stay in America, in American communities. In your communities. That is disgusting. What is wrong with these people?
Look, bitch, you want to have a conversation with a parent, an American citizen parent, about what ICE is doing, and also about your bullshit claims that immigrants in this country who are being abducted by ICE are all violent murderers and child rapists? I'll have that conversation with you. Come on over. I'll have that conversation with you. First off, the faux outrage and pearl clutching is fucking wild. The fact that she thinks what she's saying is even one tiny fraction of a percent believable. Now, Kristi Noem has, first of all, everything she says is a fucking lie, but she has repeatedly said that over 70% of the folks taken by DHS agents are violent criminals. And she has been fact-checked on that numerous times. Just a number that she pulled straight out of her ass, right? Trying to reinforce this narrative that there are hundreds of thousands, millions of violent immigrants in this country just waiting to like rape your wives and daughters and to murder your sons. It's not fucking true. We know from the Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank, that only about 5% of people in ICE custody have any record for any kind of violent crime. 5%. The rate of crime, violent crime for immigrants is lower than for the rest of the population. And the rate of violent crime for people in ICE custody is shockingly low. And nobody is saying that any violent criminals should be out on the streets. This narrative that the Republicans are putting out seems unbelievably desperate, right? That they're expecting us to buy this bullshit. A majority of Americans now feel that ICE has gone too far. Republicans have especially lost independent voters on this issue. A Marist poll from a couple of days ago showed that more Americans support abolishing ICE than keeping it. Rep. McClain and the Republicans standing behind her in that press conference are full of shit. They are spewing lies and propaganda, and they know it. So why? Why, Democrats, are you still treating them like they are your legitimate colleagues instead of propagandists for a fascist regime, supporters of an ethnic cleansing, supporting Donald Trump and Stephen Miller in creating a violent paramilitary, lawless paramilitary, supporting Stephen Miller, putting concentration camps, concrete warehouse concentration camps around the country? That's who Republicans are. They have permanently attached themselves to Donald Trump because they support what he is doing. These are smart people. They're not just misguided rubes. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. After all, they're the ones pushing forward the SAVE Act, trying to disenfranchise millions of women voters. Republicans are actively trying to rig the midterms because they know they're about to get their asses handed to them. They're afraid. They're afraid that their crimes will be exposed. They're afraid of what will happen if they are no longer in power and no longer able to continue to obstruct the Epstein investigation, support Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Donald Trump's cover-up of the Epstein investigation, the cover-up of all of those crimes, continue to intentionally deny justice to 1,000 women, girls, and boys. Republicans are actively working to subvert the midterm elections, deny the American people access to the vote. They're supporting ICE's lawless, violent reign of terror. Funding it to the tune of billions and billions of dollars, right? It is because of the big, nasty betrayal bill that ICE has gotten this giant balloon in funding that has helped them do all of this shit, helped them buy up warehouses that Stephen Miller is going to turn into concentration camps. Republicans did that. They knowingly, intentionally did that. They didn't accidentally vote for fascism. They didn't accidentally try to dismantle free and fair elections. Likewise, Mike Johnson and Republican leadership are not accidentally collaborating with the Trump regime and Pam Bondi to engage in the biggest cover-up in American history. They aren't accidentally trying to help wealthy, powerful men avoid justice. All of that is being done on purpose, and I'm so fucking sick of Democrats acting like their Republican colleagues across the aisle are reasonable people who have any interest in legitimate governance, rather than understanding that most of these fucks are fascist fucks. They are fascist pedophile protectors. Let's start calling a fig a fig. Let's stop pretending that there is much across the aisle to be done. Sure. There are occasional Republicans who are going to do the right thing, right? Thomas Massie is being attacked by other Republicans because he is willing to speak out on the Epstein files and a number of other issues. I don't agree with pretty much any of his politics, but he clearly is acting out of his own personal convictions and sense of right and wrong. Republican leadership is acting out of their craven support for fascism, their own wealth and power. They are willing to violate the law and be collaborators in dismantling the United States of America. Republicans can stop this at any point in time. They are responsible for everything that is happening now, every crime that is being committed. And yet Democrats pretend like something else entirely is going on. Democrats pretend, I don't know, Democrats are living in, a fantasy where they don't want to believe how awful their colleagues are and what tremendous inhumanity they are capable of in the name of wealth and power, which makes me worried about whether or not Democrats are going to do what is required to get justice for all of us in the coming years, because they aren't even in this moment able to call their Republican colleagues out and say, you can stop this. What you're doing is deeply wrong. They're still going through the motions as if we have a functional Congress, as if Republicans have any interest in being representatives for the American people rather than willing fascists supporting the destruction of democracy and the ethnic cleansing of millions of people in this country. Maybe that conversation about what we need to do in the time after this and what kind of representatives we need to make sure that we get justice and the reforms that we have to have. Maybe that's a conversation for another video. But for the moment, Democrats, Jesus Christ, stop pretending that these guys in the Republican Party are anything other than fascist collaborators. Stop pretending that they're something that they're not. Open your fucking eyes and stop gaslighting all of us.